You're
Now we're going to go live stream. And we have connected to the internet. The internet is now seeing us live. Welcome, internet. Hope you are doing well. My name is Sean Simons, also known as PPG Grandpa. This is going to be really awesome. Would like to welcome the newest member to our channel, Barry Ward. Thank you very much. We do have a join now where you can join our YouTube channel and you get to see behind the scenes and some really cool stuff. And Barry did that. Greg Jensen donated $5. Thank you very much. And John Wayne, $10. Thank you so much. I'm so happy. This is going to be, look at all the people. I just looked on the chat and the chat is just nonstop going. So we appreciate you. Who do we have in the chat? Let me say hi to some peeps real quick. We got Never Trust a Skinny Chef. We got the Brian Waller, John Wayne, Eric, ppglear.com. Who else do we have? Greg Jensen, welcome. Geriatric PPG, JR, Paramotor Will Fly. Man, we Charlie Walsh. We got so many people here. Thank you.
Hi, Charlie Walsh.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We are going to introduce the panel, and then we're going to be talking to Jim about his soloing and what it is to be, how it is to actually be in Canada and learn PPG. So this is going to be an excellent podcast. Make sure you put some questions in the chat, and then Brian Haybale Waller, maybe Eric Lear, Flying Flamingo Jade, Will Fly, or JP Tool, maybe even Lynn Anderson will be able to see it and answer your question here. So let's go ahead and introduce everybody. We got Eric Lear. Eric, welcome to the show, sir. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how we can get up with you and your shenanigans.
Hey, thanks, guys. I've been flying PPG for a little over a year. I'm married to Jade, Flying Flamingo Jade. And you can find me at ppglear.com. Not too many videos on there, but that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the panel. We appreciate you, Eric. We also got, we'll go ahead and introduce the wife real quick since you already said the wife. So this is Flying Flamingo Jade. She also does a really cool show on Wednesday. You can find her at paramotorgirl.com. But Flying Flamingo Jade, tell us a little bit about yourself and maybe a little bit about your Wednesday show.
Hi, everyone. You can check me out at Flying Flamingo Jade, or paramotorgirl.com will take you right to it. And that'll take you also to my Wednesday 7 p.m. Central show, Girls Just Want to Fly, and can use all the support we can get with talking to women from all over the US right now. We're working on some from out of the country also. A little bit of a time zone change problem there. So, but this week we have Kat, who is still parked down at Hodges Field, where bad apples occurred this spring. And she's going to talk about being a trike flyer.
That's so cool. So make sure you guys go over to paramotorgirl.com, hit that subscribe and that bell notification. So many cool things. And you got to watch that last video she put up about hot air balloons. Is like the next level video. It's really awesome. So thank you very much, Jade, for jumping on the show. I always see that and I think girls just want to have fun, but I guess girls just want to fly. So thank you so much, Jade. We also got the most famous person on the panel here. Brian already knows what I'm talking about. Brian, hey, Bill Waller, what's up, brother?
Man, I think you give me way too much credit, Sean. But I appreciate it. Hey, I'm not the guy that's putting out videos that get thousands of views. He's right below me there, and he's killing it, man. But now you can find me on YouTube, ppgbrian.com. I'm a para addict, just like everybody else on this panel. I'm addicted to flying paramotors. If I go more than a few days without flying, I start getting the shakes, and that's what happens when you get into paramotors. So if you don't want something to take over your life to be more passionate about than anything else you've ever been done in life, then you definitely don't want to get into paramotors.
That is true. That is true. I totally
They,
agree with you.
they
And
are that awesome.
and thank you very much, Brian, for jumping on the show tonight. I know that all of you guys have something others than doing this. You could go out and fly, but you're here instead, and I totally appreciate you. We also got the most infamous Will Fly. He does some amazing videos. You can find him at Will Fly PPG. But tell us a little bit about yourself and how awesome your videos are. I mean, they are just top notch, dude.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Well, I mean, I will fly. I love flying paramotors and making videos and giving JP a hard time whenever I can. You can find me on YouTube at Will Fly or willflyppg.com.
And thank you so much for joining us today. We also got the most infamous TikTok Tulo. This guy is amazing. I mean, he had one cat video that has about 2 million views on it, and he just put it up there, not too long ago. So TikTok Tulo, tell us a little bit about yourself and, your .coms and what's going on with your TikTok, dude.
Yeah. JP Tulo here. Just like Brian said, I'm a para addict. Started flying over 2.5 years ago, and it's just consumed every part of my life. It's been the healthiest obsession I've ever had, though. It's just been great. The people I've met, the things I've learned, just it's people ask me, that's one of the top questions you get when you join is how much is it? How much is it? And then, they think it's just like a lawnmower engine. So it's like, what, a couple $100 or whatever. And they hear how much it is. And the initial response I get is shock, but it's literally been the best investment of my life. Like bar none, the best investment in my life, of my life. And I just love flying. I love flying. I love talking about flying. And that's why you'll catch me, just about every night of the week on whatever show's on. You'll see me in the chats, just BSing with, the usual suspects, same old people. And I like to put up little clips on the TikTok on the gram, just repping for Ohio strong, which is better than North Carolina, by the way, just so everybody knows, because this is the birthplace of aviation. Doesn't matter that the Wright brothers took off in Kitty Hawk, they were born in Ohio, so Ohio is better. Thank you. jptulo.com.
Well, you guys let us know in the chat, what do you think? Is Ohio the place of, that everybody thinks about when it comes to flying, or is it North Carolina? I don't know. Let's start that discussion. But before we do, let's go ahead and introduce you to our guest, Jim Simard. He's from Canada. He's the guy that's actually putting together our Paramotor calendar. So if you go to paramotorcalendar.com, you get to see all about that. And we'll be giving away a Paramotor calendar every single time that we come on ClearProp TV, which this is clearproptv.com, by the way, in case you did not know, which I'm sure you do know. And anyway, so Jim is in Canada and he learned how to fly PPG. He just took a solo, and this episode is all about Canada, and how do you get into PPG? Welcome, Jim.
Thank you, Sean.
We'll not only are we going to be talking about you flying and your soloing, but we got to talk about this money that you have that's a scratch and sniff. I guess we'll talk about that later at the end of the show, but something to talk about definitely. But Jim, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into the PPG, and are you hooked?
Oh, I'm definitely hooked. There's no question, especially after July 4th. Wow, that was quite the experience. I'm definitely hooked. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been doing businesses all my life. My father and little sister are pilots. She's a commercial pilot, and I have started my pilot's license many times, but I just found it boring. Sorry. I couldn't quite get into it. But when I found paragliding about 2 years ago, my father-in-law, he was diagnosed with a brain tumor and he was going in for surgery. My wife was out of town for that surgery, and I had a lot of time on my hands, and I was investigating things, found paragliding, eventually found paramotoring. And I thought, wow, I can do that in Saskatchewan where we don't have any hills. And so I started investigating this, and that's really inspiration from my father-in-law, from my father, who had just passed away. I wanted to do more with what I'd been working my whole life, and I thought I need to enjoy life a little bit more. So I started looking into it, and I'll tell you, it has been a process. I started the actual training in September of 2021, about a year ago. I did a little ground school, did a little ground handling with a great pilot and friend of mine, Mike Moy. And I worked on ground school for the rest of the winter into the beginning of spring. They say it's only 20 hours, but I'll tell you, it takes a heck of a lot more than that. You're going through the syllabus and watching all the videos and trying to remember this stuff. It took me a long time. And then I gave up for a period and I had to start all over again because I forgot it all. But so it's taken a while. And then I tried doing a little bit of kiting on my own. And well, that was drastic. I got a lot of support and help from my wife, Desiree. She gave me some suggestions as I was doing it. I got a little video of that I can show if you guys want to see it.
Absolutely. This show is all about you.
I think I cut you off. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great.
hear you.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I'll pull this up. Trading video. Oh, that's not it. Well, I
think this is the latest
quite a
training
bit
session
later on
ever
where I
had.
got some successful stuff.
We are 10 o'clock p.m. And Jim just can't get enough.
Jim, we
Look at him
can't
go.
see anything.
No?
This is
Oh.
his third or fourth
What was that mean?
through the
I
pilot.
think you shared the wrong screen.
Yeah, you shared the wrong screen.
And when you share it, there'll be a little box at the bottom that you can check for optimize for video. You'll want to do that as well.
Okay. That wasn't the one I wanted to show anyway. There we go.
You gotta run to get there.
Hey, Jim.
A little loud. Can you
Yeah.
turn it down just a little bit?
Yeah, Jim. Can you turn off the music and then just tell us what's going on, please?
It'll also if you go back to screen sharing and click optimize video and turn off the audio, Jim, it'll be a little bit clearer when it
Yeah.
when you share.
Yeah. You actually have to go out of screen sharing, and then when
Yeah.
you re-share a screen, is when you're looking at the dialog box that shows all the different screens you can share. Before you share that one, at the bottom of that box, there's a checkbox to optimize video.
Yeah,
And then
sure.
and then uncheck the audio.
It's the wrong screen.
Okay. How's that?
You're sharing the wrong screen.
I can? Oh my goodness.
We see scheduling made easy.
How do I?
So you hit the share screen, and then when you hit the share screen, you have a dialog box that pops up, and then you want to hit the correct dialog box. All right, go ahead and tell us what we see on the screen then for all the people that are listening to us.
You see me failing drastically. And my wife is giving me lots of direction in here. So I'm trying to take it by running and doing everything that I didn't know I shouldn't do. Fighting the wing here.
Is this your first attempt at kiting here?
Yeah, I was a little bit, I was anxious to get out there and try it and just see what I could do with this thing and see if I could fly it at all. And I was pulling my ace too much there. I was getting pretty tired and worn out.
You're just hand kiting, or are you strapped in?
I'm strapped in. I
You're
got
strapped in.
myself, you can see it right there. I got myself a harness from the hardware store, a fall harness. And I was strapped in right in here and right in here. It didn't work very well because it would slide up on me and it wouldn't stay down, so I couldn't control it. It was.
Did it go under the groin? I can't see the straps.
No, I don't.
Yeah, there's two straps right there. I found out later that it's not advisable to use those because they're not designed for having pressure there, and so then they can create blood clots. And
Yeah,
if
if you bought it at Lowe's or a Home Depot place as a safety thing for falling off of a ladder, then it's designed to save you in the event of a fall, not be a free flight harness for sure.
Yeah, so I haven't used it since, but that was my drastic attempt at trying to kite.
So did you watch some YouTube videos leading up to this? You say this is your attempt at self-training.
Yeah, I watched some YouTube ones. I watched a few, and I got some really good ideas, but when you're in the thick of it, you're not thinking, get under the wing, and you're not thinking, use the reverse kiting. It was, it just takes time, right? And with an instructor, they're right behind you and they're talking you through it. So they're giving you each point as you go. It's just so much easier, and your success. Also, I had rotor coming off some trees. I had my trims all the way out, and the wind was not. It was too light, I think, for that. And then I got drugged right across the field, and it was quite the experience. There's no question. I'm sure that a person could get hurt very easily. You'll notice I didn't have a helmet on, and yeah. So I did that for a little while. That lasted a day, and then after I had done that, my wife felt that I really did need professional training. So thus, I was able to go out and spend some money on some professional training. Obviously, I would have been able to do that anyway, but once you get permission, it's that much easier.
Absolutely. So real quick, just wondering, in Canada, you can self-train, but do you need a license or anything like that in Canada for PPG?
You do. And it's there. You can self-train, but you still have to have instruction from an instructor. You have to have, let me just pull that up. You have to have a minimum of 20 hours of instruction of ground school. And that's supposed to be done. It can be done with an instructor, or it can be done on your own. You got to learn the air law, aerodynamics, practices and procedures. You have to learn air navigation, meteorology, engines, airframes, flight instruments. You basically are learning to fly an ultralight airplane. And so it's a bit of overkill for paramotor, but it's all really good things to know. And I actually I said that I spent a lot of time doing it. Well, it turns out that I have now done enough ground school that I can qualify for the private pilot's license, because I went a little bit beyond in the school. I didn't have to go quite that far. So that's, maybe I'll do that next. But then you have to get connected with an instructor, and you have to have about 20 hours of school with them as well. They say 5, but you need to also have 30 takeoffs and landings. You need to have those approved by the instructor. He needs to see them. Like in my video, which I'll show you in a little bit, I had the instructor in my ear. I don't know if it's technically called a solo because he was there and it was instruction. It could be construed as a solo. I have my student pilot permit, and I'm allowed to fly on that for, it's a little unclear, 2 years for sure, maybe 5 years before I have to actually write the final exam in order to get my pilot's license so that I can get it. But after you've done all this ground school, it only makes sense to me that you do the test as soon as possible so you don't have to study all over again. So that's what I will be doing as soon as I can. And I got hooked up with, after I was able to get signed up for professional training, I didn't sign up with Mike, my first instructor, because he was just so busy this time of year, crop dusting and honey farm and all types of things. So I broke down and I went to another school, which is ppgschool.com, and that's run by Aaron Hackle. And he sent me to Dustin, who is a guy that is about an hour from here, which is nice and close. And he had me performing all sorts of tricks with a kite in practically no time. And this is one of the videos that I started showing you earlier that I'll share here right now. I got the right screen, paramotoring. Right here. This was like June 20th. So it's 10 o'clock at night. You can see the moon's out in full force. And he's got me running pylons through a sod farm. And I can just barely see them, but I'm able to weave in and out of them. And so we did all sorts of different tricks like this. And then at the end here, I finally succeed in bringing the wing down in a nice manner. And I'll tell you though, if you're doing that for 4 hours, it sure takes a lot out of you in an evening.
Absolutely. How long or how many hours did it take for you to get to this level of kiting? Because that first video that you showed was like, wow, and now it's like, wow, that's you're doing really good. So how many hours difference are we talking?
This would have been, if I go back to here, this would have been probably 4 sessions. And so let's say 3 to 4 hours a night. So probably 16 hours. It might have taken a little bit less than that. But we really went into a lot of stuff because we wanted to, I wanted to be very comfortable with it, obviously. And
right.
He wanted me, this was the first half of the training. So then the second half of the training is actually getting the motor on, taxiing, which I've done, and then going up in the air and flying. And that's what this other video is of me actually doing my first flight. And I put that together. Let's see here. I'm gonna throw the sound on it though, because it's nice with, I'll turn it down if it's too high. I'll put it halfway.
Hey, you guys. I really wanted to share.
You're flying. You're flying. Good job.
Hey, you guys. I really wanted to share my success on July 4th, 2021. I officially flew my own aircraft. I took it off and landed it. Here is the raw footage of the first takeoff and landing with my instructor in my ear. I'm so glad it's over, but sad at the same time. It's something I will never get back. Now, I'm going to take the time to document it, everything I remember. But this is just the raw footage. Special thanks to Dustin Blanchard, my kiting instructor, who is always really encouraging. Thankfully, Aaron Hackle at ppgschool.com, my instructor, was able to document this flight. Having Alex and Mike there to cheer was really encouraging. Thank you, guys. Enjoy and subscribe to careppg.com, where you will find my YouTube channel, and there are more videos to come. Like, share, comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Okay, now I want you to stay focused on your area upwind. Deep breaths, nice and relaxed. Okay. Drive, 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 drive. Nice inflation. Let go of A's. Get the chest out. Start bringing in throttle.
I don't see anything.
Chest
Do you guys
out.
see anything?
Keep running.
I do now.
Up higher. So keep running, more throttle, just out, keep running, more throttle, more throttle, more throttle, more throttle, more throttle, more throttle, keep running, more throttle, keep running. There you go. Keep going. Good. Smooth on the throttle, smooth on the throttle. Keep climbing towards your destination. More throttle. A little bit more throttle, Jim. Keep getting some altitude right towards your destination. A little bit of left hand. Keep climbing. Keep climbing. A little bit more throttle. Keep climbing. Good. Good. Okay, you can back off throttle. Back off throttle and get into your seat. You can let go of throttle completely. There you go. Get into your seat. You got lots of time, lots of time. Get nice and comfortable. There you go.
So here,
okay, back hands back
here
up.
I'm thinking
Give it more gap.
it's a. Did it pause? Okay. Here I'm thinking, get into the seat, take off the throttle. Oh no, I'm gonna fall out of the sky. So, haven't been up there before.
Can you guys see
so,
my screen better?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to use my screen because we couldn't see your screen at all.
Okay.
So
video quality is way better.
So we're just
yeah,
we're just going to rewatch this. That was your first solo right there.
It's good climb out.
I think it was pretty good. So when you were, pulling the throttle and you kept on hearing more throttle, what were you thinking?
Well, I actually was thinking that I had a lot of throttle on there and that I was going up pretty fast. So I didn't want to blow the engine up. And so I was trying to do it very slowly and very consistent. Obviously, I could have used a lot more throttle and climbed a lot faster. But not knowing that at the time, it was a little weird. And also I heard stories of people where the wing would take off and then you'd kind of swing back a little bit and then come back down. And I didn't want that. I wanted to make sure that I got off and I went and I didn't come back down. So that's why I was a little gentle on the throttle. And then when he asked me to he says, okay, take the throttle off and get into your seat. Jeepers, that was a little bit scary because I didn't have any idea how fast I'd start descending. But it turned out really good. And then for the landing here, which you'll see in a second, he actually had me cut the engine, which was quite the experience. For the first time, people ask me, they say, well, what happens if you fall out of the sky? I had my mother-in-law ask me that this morning. She goes, what's going to happen if your engine quits and you just start falling? And I said, well, you see that video of me landing? He told me to turn the engine off, and I just floated down. So it was a
You look like you're in
experience
shock
that
here.
first time.
I watched this video earlier, and I feel like you're in shock right now. Like you're just like sensory overload, just like don't know what to do. That's how I felt when I got down. I was just like, wow, so much like wow, like aren't words to describe, and like you haven't even like moved your feet into a comfortable position. It's like you're I love it, man. It's just so satisfying.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience, and like I said on the video that it's something that you won't get back. But Aaron explained to me, he says, it's not like that, Jim. Absolutely every time you go up, it's an incredible experience. It's something new. It's amazing, and you will always feel like you'll never get that experience back, but you'll always have another one. So
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. So I'm looking forward to that. And I did my second flight. You know how I said I was afraid that I was going to come back down? I don't know what I was thinking, but when I finally got off the ground, I let off the throttle and I came right back down. So I had to get on it again and get going. So I had that experience.
Did you actually land when you came back down, or you just started descending and realized, oh, I better give it more gas?
Started to descend, realized I did land. My feet came to the ground, and I kept running, and I just kept, and then I powered on and took off.
That's a touch and go. So you're up to 3 flights then.
Maybe.
That's definitely true.
Cool.
Did you have any toes before your first flight? Because you said you didn't know what to expect for the flare.
No toes. No.
I got 10 toes and 10 fingers.
I think
aside from those, I didn't have any like cable toes or whatever you want to call it. But here, I want to share this picture. It's a picture of what we went through that night, and this is Alex, the young guy that came up to me and gave me a fist bump, and these are a few of the mosquito bites that he got just on his
Oh
back.
my God.
Yeah, he was pouring the repellent on. I almost think that his engineering buddies changed his repellent with a tractant or something, because it was bad.
Man,
He kept them off of us anyway.
big mosquitoes up there.
Yeah, man.
He apparently is more sweet than the rest of us.
That would totally be me, man. I am the magnet for the bugs and stuff.
I don't know how to get that off. He actually soloed just a couple days later. Well, not soloed, but he took his first flight a couple days later. And so
I think that's what we talk about. When you take your first flight, we call it a solo.
Sure. I don't know if it's technically called that here until you don't have your instructor in your ear. And then it's maybe called a solo. But
Interesting.
Yeah,
we're student pilots until we actually write the Transport Canada test.
So how does that work in fixed wing? If you have an instructor in the seat in the plane with you, it's not a solo, which that makes sense. But if you're in the aircraft yourself, but mentally you're not by yourself. I never really thought about people not considering it a solo. That's interesting that's how it's done there. I mean, nothing wrong with that. Different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, and probably everybody else that's been watching this, your first flight that you went up on the 4th of July, that was your solo. And we'll congratulate you, and we'll always think that was your first flight, your first solo. We also got Greg Jensen in the chat that says that he tells people, I'm underneath a fully deployed parachute. What's the worst that could happen? That's I guess under the question of what would happen if your motor went out. And also a big shout out and thanks to Kent Stamey at kentstamey.com, donated $10 in the super chat and said, hello, Parafam. What Charlie Wash said, what about free flight? I'm not sure what that was about, but there was a couple questions in the chat.
He was wanting to know if there's a license required for free flight, and there was not in Canada, is what he said.
Okay. So there's no license required for free flight, only if you have a motor flight. Is that correct, Jim?
Yes, that's correct. There is a hang gliding, paragliding association, and you can get lessons and training and certification through that program. I'm not 100% sure about that, but it's definitely not governed by Transport Canada. So it's
when
not,
you have a number on your wing too, right? A tail number?
I do not.
No, so that's different.
I believe you might with the powered parachutes. But
I was just watching a guy on Facebook. He was in France, I believe, and that's a powered paraglider, and they have to have tail numbers on their wings. But that's France, so a little bit different than Canada, I'm sure.
I believe I have to register my unit with Transport Canada, the frame.
Does the engine need to be inspected or anything? Safety wire, like that sort of stuff?
No.
No? Interesting.
It's kind of, if it was an advanced ultralight, then it does need to maintain the standards of the manufacturer, but
there's no one to certify that?
It still doesn't have to be inspected. It's more of a personal inspection.
Like honor code sort of thing?
Yes.
Okay.
And as a paramotor pilot, I am never allowed to take anybody up with me. I am not allowed. I have to be an instructor, and that's the only way that I could ever take anybody up. And they have to have a student permit to go up with me.
The student has to have a permit?
Yeah, the person.
Wow.
It's different than here in the U.S. You just
Yeah.
have to say they're interested in the sport, basically, I think.
Yeah, it's just,
It's a training run at that point.
well, it's a discovery flight. Yeah, it's for instructional purposes.
So after your license, Jim, is there any kind of recurrency training you have to do on a yearly basis or every other year, or it's your license for life, or what?
That's correct. License for life. When you get into a private pilot's license, then you have to have a medical done every few years. But when it's ultralight, like a paramotor type idea, then it's just a personal attestation that you are healthy. And they give you a list of questions and you say, yeah, I'm healthy in all these ways. And
Once again, under the honor code.
Yes.
I love that about Canada. Like, if you ask someone a question, you just know that, they're going to tell you the truth, right?
I wish. But thank you.
I don't know. I feel like Canadians are in general more trustworthy than us Yanks.
Thank you.
Everybody else is saying, "What are you talking about?" Okay, neighbor.
Jim, you trained for almost a year, self-training and going through this other training process that you're talking about with different instructors. Did you ever have a tandem flight before your first paramotor flight? So this was truly your first experience at flying under a canopy all by yourself.
That is true. I had never experienced it before. So it was totally 100% new to me.
You've been coming on the show for a while. Obviously, you've been interested in the sport. I just can't imagine how gratifying that must have been. Because you nailed that landing, by the way. I mean, absolutely nailed it. Textbook.
Thank you. That landing, he says to me, he explains, he asked me to release the energy and get it to slow down. And I guess I didn't really quite understand that. I thought I was coming to the ground so fast. And at the last moment there, I just buried the brakes because I really, really wanted to not plow into the ground. But it worked out almost perfectly. So that was really nice. But I'm looking forward to figuring out this releasing the energy and slowly gliding in nice and smooth and not just I mean, it worked out perfectly. I don't think I could have had a better landing, but I know there's better techniques to it. But he was also telling me that this is the worst time of year to be doing this because it's so hot that the air is so thin, and so it's not as dense, it's not as buoyant, it's not as easy to fly.
So what's the Canadian version of the FAA, the United States' FAA? Transportation Industry. He's breaking up. Did anybody hear him?
Transport Canada?
Transport Canada.
I'll just leave. Yeah, Transport Canada.
Gotcha. Now, if you're in violation, do they come in? I can't help myself, man. Do they come in on horses to arrest you, or do they have planes?
You know, I heard of a guy. This is horrible. I heard of a guy being chased down by a helicopter.
What?
In Manitoba, and he was doing something wrong, and they were upset.
Man, I mean, that's borderline dangerous. Can you imagine?
I think his statement was when he got to the ground, he was absolutely irate, is what I heard, and he was like seriously angry at the police officers because
absolutely
they almost killed him.
Yeah, the rotor coming off those rotors, like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I see a question in the chat from Jim CR120 said, how many flights do you have and how comfortable do you feel?
Right now, I only have 2 flights under my belt, and I'm comfortable up in the air, but I'm not comfortable yet. I definitely need a lot more instruction. I don't know how people do this by themselves. I would not recommend that. Don't just get an instructor. Oh my goodness. I could see, yeah, those guys, they are very, very courageous and lucky to survive, I think.
So you tried to do the training yourself, right? And you did that for a little bit, or how long did you try to train yourself?
One day.
One day, okay. And then after that one day, you're like, no, I got to find an instructor.
Well, I had found Mike was helping me out, and I thought I'd go and try the kiting by myself and do that. I always had somebody there helping me, except for this one time, which was the first time I was actually going to kite the wing. And I thought, oh, well, if I can fly this wing by myself on the ground, maybe I can do a little bit more and do a little bit of training and get advanced and get ahead of the game. But no, it was not. There was I don't think there
Harder
was
than it looks. It's harder than it looks, isn't it?
way harder than it looks.
There's more going on than it looks like, you know, what you see in a YouTube video. All these guys on YouTube, you know, they make it look so much easier than it is. You actually get there in the field and you've got 17 lines going on all over the place. You're not sure if you're clipped in right or backwards or left or right, and you got your toggles wrapped around, looped around this way and that way. And it's just, yeah, it's intimidating. Absolutely.
What were your wind conditions the first day you were the day you were self-training and kiting? Did you put up a wind indicator and have any idea what was going on? Did you watch it, or just kind of go out there and kite the wing?
It was probably it was in the middle of the afternoon. So the thermals were going, and it was changing direction on me. Like I never really understood before I got with the instructor what was going on, but quite literally there were twisters everywhere. That's what a thermal is. It's like a twister, and they're everywhere. And that's why the wind is switching directions on you all the time, because it's going in circles to get up. And it's like and then I had rotor coming off some trees off of a golf course, and then rotor coming off some other trees. I wasn't far enough away. Like when we were at that sod farm, Tough Turf Sods farm, they had trees that were about 200 meters away. And if you got when you finally got within 200 meters of those trees, you could feel the rotor starting to affect the wing. So you would be cruising along there, running for quite a long time with the swing, and then all of a sudden the rotor would kick in. And 200 meters away, maybe more, you've got to be in a big open field before rotor doesn't affect you. And I had no idea.
So that first day, you just mentioned all the things that were affecting you that first day when you were trying to kite your wing. I assume that you didn't realize any of those things were affecting you that day, and you learned them later.
I learned all that later. I had no idea that stuff was what was going on.
Once you got an instructor and somebody that kind of knew the ropes, right?
Exactly. And they explained it. And the first day I got to the instructor, I was having troubles. And he said, oh, that's because of the thermals. That's why it's switching directions on you, the wind. And we got to wait for another probably 30 minutes before the thermals start to die down. And I was like, bing, now I understand. So
you don't know what you don't know, man. I mean, that's why training is so valuable.
Yeah, well, you hear the guys that come on the show who have self-taught, and they say the same thing, right? They say that it took them 20 hours to figure out that they shouldn't have been doing it in the middle of the day, or they were too close to the trees, or their trimmers were wrong. And I've only got like maybe 25 hours into this now. I'm so much further ahead, and I'm flying.
Oh yeah.
For all the people that are listening to this, you got to go over to clearproptv.com and watch this video. He is lit up. I swear to God, it's absolutely amazing. He has a smile from ear to ear, and he's so happy and joyous. I mean, it looks like you are just so incredibly happy, Jim. I mean, how do you feel right now, knowing that you went up a couple of times, you got this instruction, and you're going to be able to get up and fly again soon? How do you feel?
I am so pumped. I am so looking forward to it. I really hope things work out this week and I'll get out there and do a few more runs. And I'm looking for a solid day where Aaron has said that if we can get a good day where, here's something else I learned. If it rains the night before, then the thermals don't kick in until much later. It's got to, like, the rain keeps everything cooler. And so if you get just the right day, you can fly all day long here. And in Canada, that's like 16 hours. So I'm hoping that day will come up really quick and we'll be able to knock out a bunch of my required flights, so that I can get more comfortable, so that I can actually do this on my own.
How many required flights do you need? I'm sorry. Go ahead, JP.
Oh, there's just a question in the chat. Jim Sierra 120, which was just along the lines of what you were starting to ask him, Sean. Jim says, question for Jim S. What's the plan now? Will your instructor continue for a time/number of flights? What's the next step in your progression?
The instructor, who happens to be, I believe, the examiner as well in this instance, because Aaron is an examiner, he has to see 30 takeoffs and landings, which are
good.
Yes, very well executed. And once he's seen that, then I can qualify for doing the written exam and getting my license. So I'm going to stick with him until I've accomplished that. And just, I can apparently go off on my own and do a few, but I don't think I will. I'll just stick with him and just get that instruction and get it done right.
And once again, you could go back to him and be like, hey, just want you to know I had 10 perfect. And then he would just put that towards your tally.
I don't think he would. I think he wants to see them.
That's good. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's part of the examination that they have to do. And they tell you to do certain things. Like, I don't know what all they tell you, but you have to execute S turns, you have to execute the landings, you have to execute all sorts of different procedures as well. And they have to be done well in order to pass.
I remember I think one is to do a landing without your brakes, where you control with just your D-lines. Actually, I think that was something that GM Sierra 120 was talking about on Facebook, maybe, if anyone has ever landed with just their D-lines instead of their brakes, if they had a line failure or for whatever reason. Actually, now that I think about it, I had a time where I had one of my brakes loop around, tie a knot, and right around the pulley. So, and that was actually early on in my career, and I didn't even know about the steering with the D-lines thing. That would have been helpful then. But well, it's one of, you don't know what you don't know, you know. So
that's
not
why you reserve, was it?
No, that was a different time.
Okay.
I actually have that on video. It was really long. It was like a big long ordeal. I had to climb out of my harness to reach up and untie the knot around the pulley. Like, it was pretty sketchy. But
you didn't climb up the wing, did you? I see you like climbing up the wing.
No. But I had to take off part of my harness because I couldn't reach up high enough. So I had to take the shoulder strap off, which was, I don't know if any of you have ever done that in a flight, but it's very scary, you know. It's just because you don't feel secure at all. And you are, even with that, just that waist strapping your legs in, you're not going anywhere, but it's a naked feeling. It's very naked. But hey, well, I got everyone's attention real quick. Can we do a quick screen grab?
Absolutely.
3, everybody. Linda, you paying attention, Linda? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Right.
Thanks for getting my attention, JP.
Oh, I wouldn't take it
I have
without you.
that attention disorder.
Uh-huh.
Well, we don't want to take a picture with you picking your nose or anything, so you
Oh,
know,
no.
we're trying to hook you up a little bit. DP said, so happy for Jim S. Congratulations. He also donated $10 in the super chat. We appreciate you, sir, for doing that. And if you don't know about DP, you can find him and his crazy shenanigans over at ppgfootlaunch.com. So any other questions in the chat? I think there was one. What motor and wing are you using to train? From Greg Jensen.
I've got a Mac Para 25 meter, and I have a Kangoo Viking 2 with a small prop. Everybody bugs me about how small it is. It's 125, but it gets me there.
So it's a 125.
I use a 125.
On what motor did you say?
A Monster 185.
Oh yeah, Monster 185 running a 125 prop.
That's what I run.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what I got on mine on the bath.
Really? I'm looking to get a 140 for mine because I got a 130 and a 135, and they're both really small.
It depends on the cage, I guess.
Yeah.
Different cages require different whatever.
Do you fly with the? Do you have is there a group of guys up there that you can hook up with after you're done with your instruction, or?
Yeah, there is. Well, Dustin and Aaron, and I met up with a few guys here one from Manitoba and a bunch from Saskatchewan just about 3 weeks ago. And it was really quite nice. They travel around, they get together on various weekends, and they fly together. And that was actually another reason why I really wanted to go with the instructors, was because I wanted that support group too. And Dustin, he flies 3-4 times a week, and they know all the really cool places to go. We've got a river just outside of Saskatoon, or that goes through Saskatoon, and there's sand dunes and sandbars, and they've got planned for us. We're gonna go para-camping. We're gonna go out to one of those sandbars, and we're gonna camp on the sandbar, and then we're going to in September, Aaron has put on fly-in at one of the provincial parks, and he's booked out the overflow camping area. We're gonna basically set up a runway. We're gonna fly out of there, and there's sand dunes in this area. It's a Douglas Provincial Park, so we're gonna get to fly in the sand dunes, and the Lake Diefenbaker is a man-made lake, and it cuts into these sand dunes. So you've got cliffs that are about 40 feet tall of just sand, walls of straight sand down. And it's I can't wait to experience all that with these guys. And because I joined the school, and I'm meeting all their students and all the people that they've flown with over the years, it's wonderful, because I didn't know there was nearly this many people in Saskatchewan that do this.
That's awesome.
It's more than training that you're getting when you sign up for stuff like that. You're buying into a network of people.
Absolutely, man. It's just another great reason to get, proper training. And Jim, did I hear you say you're up to 3 flights now?
Well, no, I only had, I had 2. I had that touch and go, so maybe.
Okay, yeah,
3.
we try to make that 3. So you're only a few flights away from selling your house, buying a van, and hitting the road. How's your wife feel
And
about
life. And life.
She doesn't know about that yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
It
This
seems,
is like
it seems to be the
sounding
common
like a
trend.
country song.
I'll have to tell her about that one. Break
Looks
it to her softly.
Exactly. We have, let me see if I can find any more questions in the chat. Tony Marzano said, does he have any ground school first? So did you do ground school first?
I sure did. I've done probably 60 hours of ground school.
Wow.
Yeah, he was basically
Yeah.
did all the qualifications for a private pilot's license, it sounded like.
I did. I know all the airframes. I know I know quite a bit of stuff. And also because it took so long, I had to go over it again for the test. So I've done it twice. Now I understand. My little sister, she used to, when she was studying for her private pilots and her commercial pilots, she would always leave us as she would, and she goes, I gotta go study. And I understand why now. There's a lot to learn.
So did you go over obviously airspace and those kind of things, but did you actually go over like communicate with airports and the lingo that you use and that stuff? Okay.
Sure did. It's a separate course, but it's part of it. And yes, most paramotor people here don't worry about it because they just avoid those areas. But my best field to fly out of is an airport. So I kind of need that radio until I get comfortable or set up a better system, place to take off and land. I'm going to have to fly out of that airport. And so I'll have to have a radio to do that. And once you're comfortable with it, it's not really that big of a deal. So I'll be able to go all sorts of places that people who aren't comfortable with it can't go.
Hey, Sean, Greg Jensen in the chat says he's up to talk about his own training in BC. What is that, British Columbia, if anyone's interested. So maybe we can line him up for next week or get him on right now or whatever.
Okay, sure.
I don't know what the schedule's like.
Where's
Linda at when you need her?
I know, right?
Dang it.
She's gone.
Dang it.
I see Jim Sierra 120 in the chat said, what kind of flying appeals to you? High cruising, cross countries, low swoop, acro?
Oh man, all of it. I'm looking forward to experiencing it all.
Are you afraid of heights?
No. I don't think, no, I'm not afraid of heights.
Gotcha. I was just curious.
But I did, in my course, I found that you're only allowed to be, I think it's 30 minutes over 10,000 feet without oxygen in Canada. It's part of the rules, but I'm sure that, but I know that as you do it more, you become less affected by it. So maybe it's not such a big deal. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know if you've been up there yet, but it's really cold. Like, you don't want to stay up above 10,000 feet for much more than 30 minutes. That's a long time to be that cold.
Absolutely. I know going up to 1 mile, a little over 5,000 feet, and I was shivering and wanted to get back down. So 10,000 doesn't sound very fun unless it's really super hot and, you're just burning up and all that stuff. Who'd you say wanted to jump on? Was it Greg Jensen?
Yeah, Greg Jensen.
We're already over an hour here. If it's all right with our guest, Jim, is it okay if I bring on Greg and talk about his?
Sure, yeah, that's fine. That'd be great.
So, Greg, what I'm going to be doing in the chat is I'm going to be pasting in the meeting ID and passcode. Just go to your Zoom and jump in there. There's a waiting room, so I'll have to let you in the waiting room or let you in here once you're in the waiting room. Does anybody else have any questions for Jim before we continue this podcast and kind of veer off and talk about other things? Anybody in the chat? Anybody in our podcast? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, GMC R120 just popped up one I had earlier and I forgot. So are you planning on doing an SIV? Have you thought about it?
I have definitely thought of it. I'm looking forward to doing that as well. I don't plan on doing it for a while. Probably if I'm allowed to go back to the States this winter, then I will probably do it then. And because down there in Florida, because that'll give me some time to experience flying and then go down there and do that.
I guess that reminds me of a question, but I guess I just answered in my head was you in Canada have to have a license to fly PPG, but once you come down here to the States, because we are FAR 103, you can just fly anyways, right?
Well, yes, you should be able to, but apparently apparently they can ask you a whole bunch of questions and it can get very confusing. So I was told that I always need to have my insurance and I always need to have my pilot's license with me. And then if a police officer or somebody comes and asks me questions, I just hand it to them and say, I'm a Canadian pilot, here's my license, here's my insurance. And then it's just done. There's no questions.
Okay. Interesting.
Now, what about an American pilot coming to Canada? You know?
Dude, we don't have insurance. I mean, hardly any of us have insurance. It's almost hard to get.
We can drive in Canada under an American license. So
Right.
Is it kind of the same like that? Like I fly a paramotor in America, just like I drive in America, and I can go to Canada. I can drive in Canada. Why can't I fly in Canada? You know, I'm just kind of playing devil's advocate.
I think you can if you have an actual pilot license.
A what?
A full pilot license, like a PPL,
JP.
or even
Yeah, I don't have one of those.
They come after you with helicopters in Canada, brother. You don't want to do that.
Or if you're from North Carolina, you can automatically fly up there.
Yeah.
Because they were the first to do it. I see what you did there. Oh, man. JP's getting mad at us. We got to stop the North Carolina jokes.
No, I think they need to just keep on going forever.
Get my hearing protection back in. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Hey, Jim, real quick, tell us about your Care PP, your Care PG, and your Care PPG, real quick.
I got Care PPG, courtesy of PPG Grandpa, or careppg.com. And that's my YouTube channel for, I put some business things on there, and then also I put a lot of paramotor stuff on. Well, I will be putting a lot of paramotor stuff on there because that's what it's originally for. And then I have DIYprinting.ca, which is keeping me busy at the moment and able to fly. So please take a gander at DIYprinting.ca.
I thought that was Mark McElroy.
Calendars, right?
Sorry?
Said Jim made some calendars for us, didn't he?
Yes.
And then, so we're making calendars as well at paramotorcalendar.com. And we got a really cool one that's been put in place. is available, and it's going to be giving some away on the program. So watch the program, and you'll get a chance.
I think we're losing you, Jim.
And if you want to buy them,
Manitoba internet.
Jim, we're losing you just a little bit. It's that Canadian internet. It's just not as good. Your internet's going A. What's going on? A. So,
Hey, Greg Jensen's in the house.
My wife's on YouTube or something.
Greg Jensen's in the house.
Greg Jensen, what's up, Greg?
Hey, not much. Well, no flying today. It's too windy here.
That sucks.
Too windy and bumpy, so I don't have to go, oh my God, I think you gotta get up and fly, but no. You're brave, Jim. First of all, Jim, I'm going to say congratulations. That was a really well stuck landing. Even with the choppy video, could tell you stood it up really well, and that's amazing. The other thing I'm going to say is you're brave flying in all of mosquito infested Manitoba, because that's going to be your flying season, man. I've heard about those things. They'll pick you up if your wing doesn't.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm actually in Saskatchewan. But that day I thought I was in Manitoba.
You thought you were in Manitoba, yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. I have family in Saskatchewan, so I'm familiar with the wide open spaces and the bugs.
Yeah.
The wide open spaces I envy.
Crazy.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
We also got Never Trust Skinny Chef Shane. He finally jumped on. Welcome, sir. Glad you made it.
Thank you. I don't know what happened. I never got a code, and I know where you sent it. Everybody screenshotted me and showed me. I literally never got it. And well, I decided to take a little break tonight, and it was I had some things to do, and I just finally got here. I was listening, but just got done with some extracurricular activities. Don't think anything wrong with that. I meant like doing
Go skinny chef. Go skinny chef. Go skinny chef.
Shane, are you coming to Dave Furden's?
Yes.
Woo. Everybody in the chat.
Are you coming? Dave. Are you coming to Moonshiners?
We're working on it. We're working on it. We were just talking about that earlier. I got to clear things with the boss. I think so, though. And I'll let you know about food and stuff. August 4th through 8th, right?
Yes. I'll be there 4th through the 8th for sure.
Jim, you coming down to Moonshiners, man? Experienced pilot like you, fly in, we'd be good to go.
Alas, I will not be.
Oh.
Not this time. Maybe next time.
Well, we're going to hold you to that next time thing. So, you definitely need to come down here and hang out with us at a fly-in, which is really cool. And if you guys are wondering how to see all the different fly-ins out there, just go to flyindirectory.com. And that way you can go, oh, well, there's all the different fly-ins. I will choose Moonshiners and hang out with the Clear Prop TV chat. What do we got going on? Who's doing that? Is that JP?
This is JP. I just wanted to show you some of the
What? I saw myself on JP's channel.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm on there too.
This is the view of the clouds over the Ohio River in the morning at Dave Furden's.
Was that a high school with a track?
Yeah, there's a high school.
Yes.
There's a high school right by the Ohio River. And then
it's just fine to fly through the uprights, just so you know, as long as no one's on the field. There may or may not have been a few times I did that.
I avoided that so far.
Stick some hay bales down there between it. We'll be good.
Definitely some hay bales. We might need to find some blow-up hay bales for Brian so he doesn't hurt himself no more.
Yeah.
Hey, there's an idea. Inflatable hay bale that I can kick all I want.
Yeah. I know, that'd be fun. Kick that hay bale, not the other hay bale.
I got marshmallow ones up here.
Then you can swap out the inflatable ones for the real ones, not tell them.
No, we wouldn't want to do that.
That's the cloud view right there.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and it's like that every morning. It just the clouds sit over the river, and it's just mouth watering.
Tip touch too low. There he is, man.
Tip touch too low. TikTok too low. Is there any more acronyms and names that we can give JP? If there is, write them down in the chat right now. I'd definitely like to see what you come up with. Secondly, did you do a spinning wheel of winning things by any chance? TikTok
I did not. No.
All right, so let's go ahead and look at the chat. I'm going to look at the chat while you're looking at this. The question, if you can answer this, you can win a free calendar from paramotorcalendar.com. All you have to do is answer this one question. And let me give you a little bit of time to refresh your...
Brian Waller?
Oh, I saw Major.
On the Mojo Mobile. Yes, sir. Major.
Yeah.
Right in the,
Hey, that picture valley right there is in my camper, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Right in front of the hideout. Yep.
So refresh your browser as you're watching JP stuff. That way you are going to be able to type this in first, because this is going to be really super easy. I'll give you guys just a couple seconds.
You want me to stop sharing for a minute, Sean?
No. Keep on sharing. It's all about...
I want to show this one where I crashed the kite into Brian, but it won't play.
I'm sorry. DP says baked balls too low.
Baked ball. Okay, he saw. Yeah.
Jim CR120 says not from the first state too low.
Too late, too low.
Too late, too low. Hey, I like that.
He's not smiling anymore, guys.
That is so funny.
It's actually not the first time I told somebody they couldn't hit me and they just nailed me, dude. You know, it's like karma.
Yeah, really, bro? Really? Someone hit you with a kite at going 110 mile an hour upside your head? Stand right there, Shane. It'll be fine. And no one got that on video, by the way.
Oh, thank God. I'll never live it down.
Luis Milstead's in the house. What's up? Build H is in the house. Walter Priori is in the house. Also, Aaron I. What's up? What's up?
Yeah.
Luis, I saw your paramotor. Your paramotor was in my front yard this last Wednesday, I think it was, or sometime. So it looks sweet. Can't wait for you to be able to fly around.
That's exciting.
All right. So here's a question, and whoever answers it correctly first gets a paramotor calendar from paramotorcalendar.com. And Jim from Canada. So Jim from Canada is printing these calendars. What is his .com? Any of his .coms that he uses? Any of his .coms that Jim uses for either his YouTube, for his printing company? Oh, Brian Waller. Close. Jim Sierra.
Oh, I gave it away to Will.
Jim Sierra 120 said 42. Close.
It's a blue 42.
WillFlyCarePPG.com. That is correct. Will Fly gets one. Kent Stamey, PPG Care. Close, but not close enough. Come on. PPGCalendar.com. Well, no, it's paramotorcalendar.com. Will Fly said carepg.com. That's another one. That's correct. Flying Flamingo J, CarePP.
Was it a DIYprint.com or something like that? Do it yourself?
People are supposed to win this by, typing it in there. I'm glad you said it out loud. Jim,
Well,
we
then
already got it.
that counts, right? I won.
DIY printing, do it yourself printing. .ca.
Care
.com was
PPG.
way too expensive. Sean didn't buy it for me.
What's that?
I say I need DIYprinting.com. It's only like $18,000.
What? Wow.
Yeah. Those trucks, there's nothing even on it.
Damn. Dragon Campers in the house. Welcome, Dragon Campers. DP. So we got a lot of winners. Everybody on the panel will definitely win. And I think the first person that was not on the panel, who was that? Tyler Vowles, got it correct by saying Care PPG. So congratulations, Tyler Vowles, for winning tonight's paramotorcalendar.com. Bill H says, that's what I said. Well, scroll up. What did Bill H say? Scroll up, Bill H.
Scroll up. Uh-oh.
I see Allie. That's all I see from Bill H. Yeah, JP, I did not like that video clip. Jade got it, so I don't know. So Bill H and Tyler Vowles, go ahead and go over to clearproptv.com, fill out that winning form, let us know that you won a calendar, and I will send that out to you as soon as Jim sends me all those calendars that I ordered from him.
Yeah, I bought one. Where's it at?
Hey, you bought it from Jim probably. You didn't get it from me.
No, I did. I bought it from the website. I sure did.
Shannon Brooks in the house, careppg.com. You said it right, but we already had a couple of winners.
Jim CR120 wants to know if he was partly right. Can he get like 6 months out of the year from the calendar?
You know what? That's no problem. No
Did a half a
problem.
calendar.
And somebody else is partly right and rip it.
Hey, JP, he's from North Carolina, man.
Hey,
No,
Greg,
no,
where
I
are
don't
you
wanna
from
help.
in DC?
Can I
All
send
right.
a calendar with a friend?
Greg said paramotorcalendar.com, but Paramotor Calendar is not Jim's
Jim.
thing. Jim's thing is his DIY
print.
printing.ca and Care PG and Care PPG. You ran out of
I knew that.
sunscreen? Yes, I ran out of sunscreen. I'm surprised that somebody actually said that. Yes, I am burnt. I am fried. We were training at the Bunny Hill today, and wow, even with the cloud cover, no sun at all, I got fried. We got dehydrated. Whew. But did really, really good. I'm going to be posting a video on how awesome my students did. I don't know if they want me to say their name on here or not, but if you said Care PG, Care PPG, or DIY printing, you win a calendar. Just go over to clearproptv.com, fill out that little form, let me know that you won a clearproptv.com. You won a Paramotor calendar from paramotorcalendar.com, which is us over here at Clearprop TV.
That's right. What he
Yes.
said.
Close enough. Close. All right. It is almost 8:30. Is there any questions for Mr. Jim, our guest today? No?
No more?
I do want to say thank you, Kent Stamey, for being a member. We also got Brian Waller for being a member. We also got a brand new person, Barry Ward, that is a member of our channel.
Cool.
So we
Welcome.
appreciate you for helping support our channel and helping support Clearprop TV.
Welcome, Barry.
paratalk.org, and PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, which of course you search for when you want to find our podcast on iTunes. Also on iTunes, if you did not know, we also have the, I guess, the permissions from ppgshane.com and his Tuesday night hangouts that allows us to rebroadcast that on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast. So ppgshane.com, can you tell us a little bit about your Tuesday night hangouts?
Well, we sit around as if we were at a fly-in, and we talk about everything and anything. We laugh, have a good time. Some of us drink a little bit, and then I try to keep it 2 hours or shorter. Sometimes it runs longer if things are going really well. But yeah, we're just hanging out, having fun, and it's not a particular, like I said, it's not a particular subject, but we just bounce off ideas off each other and things in the chat, and we talk about them, we laugh, and have a good time.
That's right. That's
Good
what we do. That's how we roll on Tuesday night.
And we definitely appreciate you allowing us to rebroadcast your episodes on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast on iTunes and other of your favorite podcasting apps. And we also have Paramotor Girl. Is Paramotor Girl Jade still on, or did she take off?
I'm here.
Oh, there you are. So Flying Flamingo Jade over at Paramotor Girl does a Wednesday night show, and she's also allowed us over on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast to rebroadcast her episodes. So tell us a little bit about your all-female podcast that you do on Wednesdays.
Sure. It's called Girls Just Want to Fly. And I interview with Cupcake Krista, Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane's wife. Gals from all over the U.S. that are interested in letting us hear their story of how they got into any sport of flying. Right now, I'm on this week, Wednesday will be episode 4. And it'll be with the gal that is still parked down at Hodges Field where Bad Apples took place. And her husband both fly trike. And they've been doing it a short time. And upcoming, I am talking to a mother-daughter duo that skydive, and I am currently talking to 2 hot air balloon pilots also for possibly the end of August. So if anybody's interested in sharing their story, reach out to me at paramotorgirl.com or Flying Flamingo Jade or my Facebook channel, and just message me and I'll get in touch with you.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for starting this. I mean, I think you are the only person that has started and is running a all-female podcast for people that are flying ultralights, PPG, free flight trikes. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And if we want to get up with you, because I'm a female and I want to be on your show somehow, is there a email address that we can get up with you?
You can go to Flying Flamingo Jade at, hang on, I've got a couple of them. Flying Flamingo Jade at gmail.com.
Awesome. All right.
And it also doesn't mean that guys are not allowed to come in on the chat. I encourage you guys to also be fans for my show, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can be fans. We just can't be on your show and talk and show our pretty faces, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We
Are you saying we can be fans only?
Well, of course. If you put a wig on, Shane, maybe I'll let you on sometime. Okay.
All right.
I'll
I'm
put
I'm Paramount of the chat.
And a
I
coconut
keep,
bra.
I keep a close eye on everybody, Jade. You know, when I'm on that chat, I'm watching all you guys. I'm like, yeah. What the heck?
Okay.
Okay.
JP, you need to turn off your microphone. Just because we can't see you doesn't mean we can't hear
I
you.
think it was.
Thank you, JP.
Well, now there is something in Ohio for first.
So to earmark that, what's that? An hour and 31 minutes into the show.
Yeah.
Stop laughing.
Come back and get a audio clip from that tomorrow.
That was. We're gonna start calling him Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, JP Tulo.
Twinkle too low. Twinkle too low.
Twinkle Twinkle Tulo.
Isn't that from like, it's kind of like from the scene for that movie Airplane? I remember that. Same thing.
We put together.
He had the mic on and he was going in on the airplane doing his thing.
JP, we love you, and we love your
yes,
Twinkle
we
Twinkle.
do. Yeah,
we need a bloopers reel, man, because we can add that. I can think of a few in the past too. Clearcroptv.com.
Everything got like so quiet. You're like, was that really what?
Oh, John Wayne just became an official fan and joined up, man.
Yay!
He's got the green fan.
He's actually ClearProp TV VIP Class E. He's not just a Paramotor friend. He's a VIP Class E. Holy smokes.
Holy smoky. Good thing I'm sitting down.
Thank you very much. There's different tiers that you can be a member of.
Wow.
And he's gone, he has gone to almost top tier of Class E. Holy smokes. I mean, what's above Class E?
Smoky.
Class A.
Class A. Holy smokes,
Class
man.
A is above everything.
I know.
Wow. How do you do that? Can we even like touch him now or anything? Dang.
So welcome Geriatric PPG, also known as John Wayne.
Yeah.
Awesome. What is a couple of John Wayne's things that he used to say on his movies?
Gosh, now we're doing trivia. Come on, Will. Help me out, Will.
So if there's something that you can think about that John Wayne says on his movies, put them in the chat.
That'd be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Plainfield PPG just jumped on and said, greetings all, welcome.
Yay. Greetings. I have to say hi to all my chatters. Hi, chatters. Thank you for hanging with us tonight.
Well, real quick too, Linda, you weren't here when we introduced everybody, so
I know.
We need to. I think you had internet issues or something like that. So real quick, can you let everybody know that not only are you, our cheerleader and our biggest fan. Holy smokes!
Yeah.
And since we're talking about paramotors and big fans, you must be like a Nitro 200 or something. So that's awesome. But you also have a very famous person in your life that does a paragliding podcast. Tell us a little bit about that real quick.
All right, I am Paramom of Robert Michaels, who does this awesome show on Thursday night called paraglidingtalk.com, and he is a paraglider / paramotor. So I have to say, he's kind of advancing his horizons, as saying goes, in the flying. And it is so much fun. I have just following him on his shows and everything. And then everything just kind of expanded into meeting you guys and everything. And my para family just keeps getting bigger, and I love it. I don't fly yet, but I'm hoping to get on a tandem. And so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I love you guys bunches. I appreciate everybody that supports the show and everything. And I get excited about everybody. I get on every show every night, and I just totally support everybody. And you guys are awesome.
Oh, one of these days you need to jump on Robert's show and go about, ClearProp TV, and just talk about us, just like you talk about Robert on our show. So what do we have here right now? We have Monday night ClearProp TV on Monday night. Tuesday night we got PPG Shane and his Tuesday night hangouts. Wednesday we got the all girl paramotor podcast with Flying Flamingo Jade, and On Thursday, we got this other guy. What was his name again? I can't really remember.
Robert Michaels,
Oh,
paragliding, chalk.com.
that's it. There we go. So we got a lot of great shows that are out there, and we definitely appreciate everyone that's out there. And we also got one on Sunday. What Sundays? Our Paramotor Nation.
Yes, yes.
So there's nobody. So there's nobody
Sunday
on.
night.
Yeah. So there's nobody on Friday. Nobody on Saturday. So if any of you guys out there want to start a podcast about paramotors, you got Friday and you got Saturday, and that's it. That's all that's left. So you better hurry up and get your stuff done.
Sure.
Get out there real quick. Hey, Greg, you jumped on because you want to tell us about your training that you did. You did training in Canada, Is that correct?
Yeah, in British Columbia. Yep.
All right. So tell us about your training and how that went.
Well, it went pretty good. I was just going to contrast it with training. I'll share this screen here with training in Manitoba, because you mentioned something about being out on a bunny hill.
Mm-hmm.
In British Columbia, this is what we call a bunny hill. Can everybody see the screen there?
Yeah. So what are we looking at? About how high is the top there?
The top where we're launching here is I looked out on Google Earth. It's 670 meters above the valley floor.
So
which is
for us,
sea level.
Us people over here that don't know, meters and stuff, about how high is that in feet?
670, about 1,800 feet.
1,800.
It's a 10 to 12 minute ride down if you don't catch any lift. A sled ride. So you get a 10-minute flight right after launch. But basically, they kite you around. You see these two trees down here. There's a field. So you spend an afternoon kiting and getting used to the wing, right? And or an afternoon or two or whatever you require for kiting it. So my first day, I didn't get out to do any flying because I was, just busy kiting. And then halfway through the second afternoon, he's going, well, you want to come up? Let's fly. I'm going, so I'm asking about a bunny hill. You got something, short to jump off of. He says, oh no, you're going to fly. So this is me on the left, but this is not my first flight. This is probably my 15th or 16th paragliding flight. So I did it took me a couple of summers to get all the flights in and then get ready to handle a motor behind my back as well. So this is, basically 10-minute flight. If it's straight down, you learn how to fly out there and do your back and forth between the houses and line up on those trees. And one flight, we actually had someone land in one of these two trees, which ended the day for everybody. And we all sat around and watched saw her do a rope trick to get her down, which was fun. Not for her though. Anyway, what else have I got? I'm gonna just see if I can get got a short video of one of my first launches. That was, this is one of my first launches. So I'm getting all lined up. That's my Buzz 3, my first wing, and I'm on the Black Hawk 125 that the school has. So this is down on that field. Nice mountains, and this is definitely not Manitoba, right, Jim? And wing comes up good, and then I get I hope the video is doing all right. And then this is what happens when you drop the throttle. So I'm running into the air and then drop the throttle and then drop the throttle again. And no, I knew it was good. They didn't know it was good. So,
I don't see anything different.
Sorry. I guess I'm just not sharing the correct thing here. You're still looking at the scene.
Yeah, Jim CR in the chat says they must be big bunnies.
Yeah,
big
bunnies. Yeah, it's 670 meters up. Let me see if I can make sure the screen share is correct. It says that I'm sharing my whole screen here. So can you see the video?
Nope, don't see the.
Nope, the screen sharing is paused. Okay, so how do I unpause that?
There you go. I just
thanks.
Turned it off.
So I'll get take off. I'll just share the screen. Yep. There. Okay, so we see that one?
Yes.
And it's pretty good. Okay, so I'll start a few seconds in. And
So this is you?
Yeah, this is me. This is about my third takeoff. The first one was pretty straight. The second one, I did a one face plant too, but this is not an old Buzz 3 I had. And he's saying, go, 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 go. And then you just run into the air. Sorry, my dog is getting impatient here too. So don't drop the throttle after takeoff, because this is what's going to happen right here. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not the way it's supposed to look. And there's a little jump hill there, but yeah, that was. And then I started to get stable on it. So it was okay. I was a lot more comfortable than it looked, right? From my seat when I was doing that, I was not nearly as scary as it looks. It looks scary. So that was.
Dang, man.
And then over. I have a better takeoff here. This is my good one.
That was one of your good ones?
This is one of the good ones. Can we see this video now too?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, videos are so much better when they're horizontal.
Yeah, yeah, I thought that was good. This one was horizontal. I'm going to skip ahead till they get going here. There it goes. Nice wide open field. I don't have that where I'm flying locally at my own field.
Are you looking at your wingtips to make sure that you're...
No, not there. I wasn't. I sure do now. I've had a cravat, and just recently, my very last, the last flight that I had actually had a line snag. So there was a compression knot or something, or friction knot they call it. So that was much better. That's Jim Reach and Fly BC coaching me around the field.
That's the same field, isn't it?
Yeah, the same field as in the previous video. Yeah, Fly BC is the only outfit in British Columbia that's training. So basically, because you have all these mountains in the area, they find it much better to train you how to fly the wing first. So you basically learn to paraglide first before he'll put you on the motor.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is beautiful country, and I have a good landing video here, which is vertical again. Can we see that one?
Yeah, I would like to know about us paramotor pilots here in the States, if we can come up to Canada, and fly with y'all.
I don't know. I think you need a license to fly a paramotor in Canada. So I would say that if you...
So if we had like a sports pilot or license or something like that, or the...
Yeah, well, it's an ultralight license. I'll just shut the volume off on this. You can watch one of my landing. So you do need an ultralight pilot's license, pilot permit to fly, as Jim was saying. And I have the next up. I have a recreational pilot permit, which I'm allowed to fly a Cessna, which I had before I started paramotoring. And that was a huge jump because I had all the aviation stuff already down. I knew airline, all that stuff, how to take care of an airplane.
You are really oscillating coming.
Yes, yes, that was a very oscillating flight back landing there. Probably my third or fourth landing. So they've gotten a lot better. So, yep.
Landed on feet.
Landed on my feet. I've only had 2 landings that are not on my feet, and I did those back to back. Probably after I've already had 50 or 60 landings, I forgot how to land. So something I've discovered that is absolutely essential for me is to watch the end of the field and not the ground where I'm trying to land when I'm ready for the flare, right? So you can't judge the flare by staring at the feet, the ground below your feet. You just can't do it. So that's how I ended up on my face a couple of times in a row. But yeah,
that's usually what happens. You got to look at that horizon or look at something out in front of you instead of looking down at your feet.
Yeah. And that's what my CFI told me when I was learning to fly a Cessna. He says, okay, you got the field, you got your spot made. You're going to hit the end of the runway. You know that. Eyes on the other end, right? And then you can and then you can make it and you're good. But the minute you're fixated on the spot you're going to land on, you're not going to do it right. So anyway, I think Jim mentioned a little bit about all the the licensing and stuff that's required in Canada. I had a link. Let's see if I can find it now. I had a link to the Transport Canada page. Oh yeah, study and reference guide. So this is it here, and maybe I can.
It sounds like the licenses are very similar to what you're talking about in the United States would be sport pilot's license, which
the
is a
recreational pilot permit. What I have is very similar to a sport pilot license.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can fly anything up to like a 2-person Cessna 150.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know,
I can fly up to. I can actually fly a 4-place aircraft as long as I've only got 1 passenger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's not for paramotoring. All you need is an ultralight license, like Jim is working towards. Or if you've written the exam yet, Jim?
No, I haven't.
No. And then you won't have your flight review won't be quite as nerve-wracking as mine was, with the instructor sitting there going, okay, now what are we going to do here? But you will have the guy in the radio saying, okay, now you're going to do this, and you're going to show me that, and get your 30 launches and landings in. Yeah. So it's a journey. It's a journey. Yeah.
I just looked online, and it says the approximate cost for earning a private pilot certificate is around $10,000.
Yeah.
Well, the average for a sports pilot certificate can be as low as $4,000.
Yeah. Yeah. I spent $8 getting my recreational permit, and Jim, you'll probably be half of that.
One of the biggest things is people with medical conditions for the sport pilot's license. If you're a private pilot's license and you fail a medical, you can never get your private pilot's license back ever again. If you're a sports pilot's license, you don't have to pass that medical, but you're limited on how many people you can fly.
Yeah.
In the United States. So there's a huge difference there. If you're colorblind or certain things like that, have diabetes, different things like that, you can't get a private pilot's license. So that's a big reason a lot of people do it. And you don't have to have near as many hours in the training before you're signed off. So there's definitely some differences.
Yeah, that's the same here with the recreational pilot permit. I only have to have a class 4 license or medical. I think, Jim, yours is totally self-declare. Mine is the same form, but I have to get a doctor to sign off on it. And because I'm over 40, I don't know how old you're, Jim, but when you're over 40, then you also have to have an ECG trace for your heart. They have to make sure you're not going to go while you're in your air, I guess. And that's, signed off. And they will come and chase you. But Transport Canada, I don't know, this incident about some guy being chased down by a helicopter, he must have really done something stupid to get some attention, because I flew for a year on my recreational pilot permit with, don't tell anybody, an expired medical. And finally, the Transport Canada phoned me up and said, we need to talk to you. It's pretty important. Right. So I had a nice chat with the guy at Transport Canada, and he said, yeah, don't take off until you get your medical up to date, which I didn't. I took a couple of weeks off and made sure I was all straight and legal. And also another thing you have to have in Canada is you have to be insured. You have to have insurance for the motor, right? I'm pretty sure, Jim, you have to have insurance.
How much insurance do you need? I mean, the liability up to a certain amount, or what?
It's liability, and it's available. There's a couple of places that sell it. I can't remember where I bought mine now, but it's $100 for a year.
And how much does that give you as far as liability insurance?
I'd have to look. I think it's $3 or $5 million. $3
or $5 million for only $100 a year.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just in case I figure the worst that can happen where I am is I have to land on the horse ranch, and I frighten a horse and it breaks a leg, and they have to shoot it. Now oh my gosh, somebody says that was a $30,000 horse. Oh, really? Okay, sure. I'm really sorry, but I can't imagine that happening. It's just the absolute worst case I can imagine. So I'm not going to land on the road or anything. But
Mine cost me $160 and I got $1 million insurance.
$1 million? Okay. Okay. So mine's probably only $1 million as well then. Yeah.
Only
And it might
$5.
be. Yeah. And it was $100 back January, February when I bought it.
Now I know that you can go to the USPPA and they have a link to get insurance for us over here in America,
Right.
but I haven't got it yet. I guess I probably need to really look into something like that and get it, because it seems like it's not too expensive. I also did a search online for how much does it cost to become a pilot. And here it says that a student's pilot license is free. A sports license is between $4,000 and $6,000. A private pilot license is between $8,000 and $12,000. Commercial pilot's license is $28,000 to $90,000. A flight instructor license is $32,000 to $95,000.
Oh yeah.
And the airline transport pilot license is $35,000. So I tell you what, for having no license and be able to, get your motor and training for, everything for less than $10,000 in PPG is just absolutely the cheapest way of actually flying. It really is the poor man's, airplane. It's just so impressive.
I was just looking for my insurance right now and I've got it here somewhere.
Any questions in our panel that we want to ask Jim or Greg, or anything that popped up in the chat that I did not see?
MCR asked if Kangooks cost less in Canada.
I'm sorry?
Kangooks, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Kangook. Did you go that route because it costs less in Canada?
I went that route because I found a really good deal on a used one that got me the wing, the helmet, an extra prop, an extra piece of cage, and only had like 34 hours on it. So I thought, dang, I better get that. And it cost me $7,500. So I couldn't go wrong with that.
That's very good. Yeah, that's very good.
DP also asked a question. He said he just looked at a wing diagram. He said, do y'all know that there's an actual place called the butthole on a wing?
Yep.
The leaky butthole.
I'm surprised that Jim didn't know about the butthole yet. You always got to clean out your butthole. I thought that we had conversation about cleaning out our butthole.
There's two of them too.
I was in Mexico with my just paragliding last January 2020, I guess, and I did some kiting on the beach. And being a relatively new pilot, I managed to get probably 2 pounds of sand in the wing, and it took me months to get it vacuumed out. Most of it I managed to get shook out through the buttholes, but yeah, I probably did a couple of free flights with the carrying Mexican beach sand in the wing, going, well, that's not a good idea.
Well, there are different types of wings that allow you to do different things. Like I know that the Roadster 3, their butthole has a little thing that comes out of it. So when you're on the beach, it stays out. So as you're getting sand into it, it lets the sand out as you're flying. Some of them, like my Gin Vantage 3, has just Velcro, and it doesn't allow it to I don't know, spew sand out of the butthole as you're flying on the beach. And then my APCO Lift EZ, it has holes all along the bottom of it with no butthole. I'm assuming that all the holes allow things to fall out as you're, flying or kiting. Panel, have you guys checked your butthole lately?
My Ozone had the same as your Roadster. My Buzz 3 has the same pocket that comes out. My APCO Hybrid doesn't have at all, because it's a single skin wing at the back half.
How about the rest of you guys on the panel?
I'm taking the fifth on this one, man. I'll let y'all lead off with that.
You never checked your butthole, Brian? There could be some hay in it.
I haven't found mine yet. And I I got a ton of grasshoppers in my wing.
You want to get those out of there.
Will,
Hey,
any
Sean,
yes.
talking about buttholes, talk about the buttholes. Let me ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Speaking of buttholes.
I was just going to say, Brian, you jumped in a little too soon. If your wing doesn't have a butthole, it's underneath hanging from it. But never mind, Brian. And you missed my thing. Let me ask you a question. Never mind. I'll be over here on mute if you need me.
Go.
And I said his butthole is always open.
Oh, Lord.
Now, okay, for you guys that don't know what a butthole is on a wing, on the corner of both of the wing, there's usually a little Velcro that that you can open up, and that's and the sides of the wings or the tips of the wings usually accumulate, dust, debris, rocks, sticks, bugs, sand. And, so when you're flying, all that debris goes to the tips of the wings, and the buttholes allow you to shake all that stuff out of your wings butthole.
Well, you know what? You learn something every time on the show, and I just learned something tonight.
You learn about your butthole.
There you
You learn that you can shake sand out of the butthole, right?
Yeah.
I love it.
There you go.
Will Fly, you do a lot of flying, right? So do you do flying on the beach?
No, never. I've never ever flown on the beach.
Okay.
If I fly Kitty Hawk, that'll be the very first time around the beach.
Well, you better start flying on the beach, Will. Jeez.
I'd like to know, because Greg said that he had a bunch of sand in his wing and stuff like that. I wonder what's the most, debris that you guys have accumulated in your wing that you took out and was like, holy smokes, I can't believe this actually was in there. Some people said rocks, some people said a bunch of sand, but what kind of debris have you accumulated in your wing that you had to dig out of your butthole?
I tell you the truth, that's not been an issue for me. I mean, I guess I have an extra clean butthole.
See, DP, what you started, buddy?
How have you never cleaned it?
You set him up, Sean. You set him up. You had to know it was coming.
Absolutely. DP in his butthole. All right.
Oh, my God.
He's a troublemaker.
Oh, my God.
Same guy that named that thing on the wing is probably the guy that named the seventh planet from the sun.
Uranus.
Yeah, that would be the one.
Uranus, yeah.
Okay.
At least get a sense of humor.
So, yeah, I guess we got a planet called Uranus. We got a portion of our wing that's called the butthole. So, I guess.
I don't know. It's like, good thing I have a sense of humor, and I get, that's why I hang with you guys, because,
come on, guys, we do fly butt fans.
There you go. That's right.
There you go. Now we're on a roll here. Okay.
So we have a butt fan. We have our wings have a butthole.
Yeah.
We don't want to fly to Uranus.
But the number one rule is D-bad.
Right.
One of my flight instructors, when I was learning to fly a Cessna, said, "Don't forget the number one thing." He said, and I'm going, I can't remember what my response was, but he corrected me. He said, "Don't fuck up."
Exactly. Right. Because that'd be very, very bad. Especially.
Yeah, I was just reminded that there's grandkids watching this show.
Oh.
Yeah.
We can beep in the post, Sean. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's a swear jar, and you can either donate into the super chat, or I don't know, maybe just become a member of the channel, whatever you want to do. I don't care. But it's all good. So any other questions on the panel or in the chat? It's 9 o'clock right now.
Yeah.
Anything for Jim? Anything for Greg?
know everything you need to know about getting a paramotor license in Canada.
Exactly. I mean, this has been a really fun show because there's a lot of things I didn't know about.
Me too.
I think most countries in the world, most of Europe, you require a license to fly a paramotor. I'm pretty sure you do in Australia, same as Canada.
Interesting. Which reminds me too, I heard that Walter is not feeling well. He posted that in the chat earlier. So Walter, hope you feel better, buddy.
Oh man.
Sorry to hear that.
Buddy. Okay. I'll have to check on him.
He's literally feeling down under.
Right, that's from Brian Haybale Waller over at PPG.
Dad jokes.
Brian.
I'm sorry. I just knew Shane was about to say it, so I stole it. He had that look on his face.
Yeah.
Well, I have a
somebody's
question
gonna
for Jim.
slack on the jokes around here.
Yeah, we need a joke, Shane. You got a joke to carry us on to the next podcast, which will be tomorrow, and I don't know, your podcast.
Oh, you can't put the man on spot like that. He's muted.
Well, he is muted, but that's why.
Shoot. Yeah, I am muted, but this weekend we had a run-in with one of my wife's past friends. And so yeah, the guy's a real clown. I mean, I really had some big shoes to fill when I stepped into place of boyfriend. You know what I mean?
Oh boy.
Nobody got it. Nobody got it. Dang it.
Oh no.
He was a real clown. I had some big shoes to fill. Come on.
I'm still trying to get past the thought just to having a boyfriend before you. That didn't happen, right?
No, it did happen.
That launched right over my nose and flew over my head.
That just flew right out of my wings butthole and died.
He pulled it right out of it.
I will tell you, it's been probably, this is a true story, by the way.
Okay.
We went out to dinner Saturday night, and we went to this new place, and it's kind of like a pub, but it's got a food or whatever. Worst brisket I ever had in my life. Long story short, I had mentioned that same joke, and not even 10 seconds after I said it, that dude that we haven't seen in 15 years walks right through the front door. I was like, seriously? All right, well, that worked out great.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So we had a little bit of an awkward dinner. Well, I didn't. I was fine, but someone else was a little awkward. Anyways,
oh my goodness.
it was
sure.
It was ironic that seriously, I mean, it's not like we sit here and talk about anything in our past, really. I mean, we've been together 26 years, and I don't know, the conversation just happened to run in that category, and I mentioned something and turned around, looked at the door, and in walks the guy. I was like, seriously, dude?
What are the odds?
I was like,
ears were burning and wanted to come and check it out, apparently.
I will tell you the funniest thing was he actually saw Krista and he did one of those double take things, like, oh, and then ran around to the other side of the restaurant, and that's where he stayed. I was just like, what? Dude, you're talking 26 years ago.
That's a small world. Oh my God.
I thought it was pretty funny. And then I kept going, here he comes. I think he's walking over to you, because she had her back towards him. And she's like, what? Why? I'm like, it's all right. He's not coming. She's like, stop messing with me. It's pretty funny.
If anybody anybody has a good joke, post it in the chat while Shane is chatting.
Hey, we've been there some time or another. Yeah, in my married life. My married life.
Speaking of married lives, I was actually had a question for Jim. How's your wife taking your newfound affection, hobby, persuasion,
Yeah.
pastime?
Addiction.
Well, she's a little bit concerned. She's trying to get her head around it, me flying and soft wing and stuff like that. But she's done a bunch of research on it and to find out what all it's about and how safe it is and how safe it isn't. And she's really happy that I'm getting instruction from professionals and that I'm getting good guidance and that I'm going to be hanging out with people who are responsible pilots and that want the sport to progress in a positive manner and aren't taking crazy risks or anything like that. They're all wanting to be safe. And she's confident that I'm getting the right information. And so am I. It's really quite nice. The guy Aaron Hackle, is actually the distributor for Gravity. He's the distributor, I believe, for Dudek. He's the distributor for like just almost all the major paramotor brands for Saskatchewan and some other provinces. And for, I think, Gravity, he might be for Canada. And then, so
he's a Gravity dealer in Canada.
Yeah.
I've been interested in that, in their paramotors. They look pretty neat.
Yeah, they're neat. He showed me them, and they're really quite a neat setup.
And they're very reasonably priced for what they are too.
Yeah, they're a lot more expensive here than they are in the States.
Oh yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Well, first of all, there's the translation to Canadian dollars, and then there's the GST PST.
Same price for all I know.
Yeah, the GST PST, it really adds up. But yeah, you got a used equipment for under 10 grand. That's a nice deal. My Buzz 3 I picked up used for 1,700 with a free flight harness and a reserve, and that was really good to see that. And then I just kited it for the whole spring.
Good for you. Yeah, there's some nightmares stories out there of buying used stuff. I know Mike, the guy that I first started working with, he's had nothing but problems with his. And then another guy was who just sold his. He got one. The guy he bought it from said he had just rebuilt the engine. Well, the thing has never run smoothly.
Yeah, he just rebuilt the engine and couldn't get it to run properly again, so he sold it.
There you go. That's probably what happened.
Two-stroke. Well, that's one of the reasons I have an electric paramotor. I didn't want to become a two-stroke mechanic.
Well, if you become a paramotor pilot, you're going to be a mechanic.
Yeah. Well, I look after my batteries instead of my motor.
So what kind of flight time do you have with it?
With the electric, I get about 25 minutes, 30 if I wanted to really push the batteries, but I don't. So it's nice. It's enough. Yeah, it's enough for me.
Good.
In Saskatchewan,
I can't barely go anywhere.
No,
20 or 30 minutes.
No, you're not gonna. You're gonna travel for 10 minutes and go, well, this looks just like where I took off, and go back, and that's it.
Exactly. All I'd see is canola fields.
Yeah. Well, you can go up there and track down the neighbor's dog if they ran away 3 days ago.
Well, that's Manitoba.
Oh, okay. Right, again. Yeah, you're in the flatland. Yeah, you're in the flatland. I am not. Yeah.
For my first year, I think I had, if you average my flight times, I had average of half-hour flights for my first 100 flights, or average a half hour. Mine were definitely below average, according to most of the people on this panel that I talked to. A lot of people, like, I think Sean's average flight was over an hour at the time.
Yeah.
A lot of people fly a lot longer once they get up in the air. But there's definitely, for people like me starting out, or there's, if you can get an hour flight time out of electric paramotor, I know you said you'd fly 30 minutes, but you're not flying till your battery was dead, if I remember correctly.
Right.
You know, there's a market for it, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're a light pilot, the new Open PPG SP140 will take you in the air for an hour. If you're not, you know, climbing up high and dropping and climbing and dropping, for sure it can last an hour.
Yeah, I'm kind of like enjoying my gas tanks where I can just top them off and go fly for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And then, you know, come back in after 2.5 hours, you know, top off again and then go fly another 2.5 hours.
Yeah. It's a long way. Hey, everybody, I'm going to have to go take that dog out for a walk. And I suppose you can probably hear him whining in the background, and it's definitely time. Him and the other one. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Ray, for jumping on. We appreciate your time.
I appreciate everybody giving me a listen, and it's cool to have a community.
Absolutely.
Jim, good luck. What your next magical step is your first flight without the instructor at all, on your own field, right? So when you're not in the instructor's field and there's no instructor in your headphones at all, that's what I considered the true solo in a paramotor, and that was a whole new magic. You know, it's like, wow, I really did that for myself. It feels so much different. Yeah, and of course, having soloed in the Cessna, that's something I'll never forget either. But yeah, enjoy the journey, and I hope we talk to you again sometime. And cool.
Sounds good.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See, man.
Back to you soon.
Okay.
So,
bye.
real quick, everybody, you know, on the panel and everybody that's listening to us, what do you consider a solo on a paramotor? Do you consider your solo the first time you've gone up, even with the instructor in your ear, or do you consider your solo the first time you've gone up without your instructor in your ear? Panel, real quick, what do you consider a solo?
When you go up by yourself, with or without an instructor.
I agree.
You
Anybody
mean
else?
without an instructor in your ear, right?
Yeah, even so, I mean, you're the one who's flying that aircraft.
But there's nobody else in the craft with you.
Yes, right.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, my first flight, even though I had an instructor in my ear, I consider that my solo. How about you, Shane?
No, when you don't have any input in your ear and you're on your own and you send it, that's what I consider my first solo. That's just my opinion. What did the drummer name his two daughters? And a 1 and a 2.
Oh Lord.
Gotcha. I see Jim's been dropping some jokes in the chat.
Oh yeah,
a school called a lady to tell her that her son has been telling lies. The lady replied, "You're right. I have no kids." Oh man.
What's a zombie's favorite weather? Brainstorms. Aaron,
hey, did you guys
said,
hear about me?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, John. I was gonna say, did you guys hear about me cutting off that in the parking lot, cutting off that albino? He got so mad. I was like, dude, just lighten up.
Oh my God.
That one's hilarious.
Aaron I in the
All
chat
right.
said first
I
time.
can see the numbers dropping. Oh, no, we just picked up another chatter. How about that?
We got 24 people viewing and 24 likes. So thank you very much, guys. We appreciate that. Aaron I in the chat said first time you're flying by yourself. I assume that's with or without an instructor in your ear. I agree. Whenever you're soloing, you're up there by yourself. Dewey said with or without. Eric said Jim's on a roll. Mark McElroy from ParalifePPG.com said with the instructor in your ear. Geriatric PPG, John Wayne said, without an instructor. Really? You think without your instructor was your first solo? Okay.
What about can you have more than one solo?
I mean, so your first flight with instructor in yours, your solo 1, and then your first flight that you went out and flew without an instructor in yours, your solo 2?
No, I'm thinking I grew up fixed wing, dad flying fixed wing. He taught me how to fly fixed wing. I flew a fixed wing by myself, March of 2014, and then without him in my ear. And then I flew a paramotor for the first time by myself with an instructor in my ear. So I felt like I had 2 solos, a solo in a plane and a solo in a paramotor.
Oh, absolutely. Any craft you fly, I guess, would be a solo. So does that mean when you change your paramotor wing or your paramotor cage, then you're flying a new solo? Like I went from the flat top to an Angel, so my flat top was a solo, and then when I flew the Angel, that was a solo?
I don't know. I guess we're that's a bit of a stretch, I think. Maybe it's just your first flight. And then my solo was on a plane, and a lot of these other people's solos were, on a paragliding wing.
I'll tell you, on my first flights, I had the instructor in my ear, but I couldn't understand a dang thing he was telling me to do.
That's what Kent Stamey or Aaron I just said in the chat. Couldn't hear him anyways. Kent said that, he lost radio contact the first flight, so half and half, I guess. Mark McElroy just said, no, I'm not sure what he's referring to.
So Kent Stamey, if you could bear it, half the time you could hear him and half the time you couldn't hear him. Solo. So that would be called a SO flight, because
a so-so flight.
Solo.
It was a so-so flight.
So-so flight. Hey, Sean, what do you call a hippie's wife?
A hippie's wife? I don't know.
What do you call her? Mississippi.
I know.
That one was pretty good.
Yeah, you gotta give us a minute to figure that one out.
Oh,
but I
I
like
got it now, Mrs. Hippie. Okay.
It's a play on words.
Mark
Mississippi.
Mississippi. That's
Oh,
a
man.
silly one. God.
And I gotta make this easier.
What do cats eat for breakfast?
Oh
What
my
do
God.
cats like to eat for breakfast?
What?
I don't
waiting,
know.
Jim.
I'm waiting
We're
for
waiting.
Jim Sierra 120 to tell us what it is. Mice Krispies.
What do you? I think I've said this one before. What do you call a pile of cats? A meowton.
Meow.
Again, play on words. Some of you are gonna struggle.
Meowton. We got 26 people watching, 24 likes. Almost got it. So if you haven't
That's
given us
cool.
those thumbs ups or those likes, they
Yeah.
definitely help, and we appreciate you.
See, they can't get enough of us. That's why they keep hanging out here tonight. They're like, keep it going. I love the jokes. Let's do this.
Mark or Tony Marzano said,
Oh, look at
Eric
it.
said it's
I'm
best
here.
when your feet leave the ground. It's a solo.
There you go. Yeah.
So does that mean that my first toe that I had was a solo?
A solo toe?
I think everybody's probably got their own definition of a solo, but ultimately it's the first time I think you fly without somebody else controlling the aircraft, whatever type that is. And you execute the launch and landing on your own.
Even with an instructor in your ear, you're still doing the whole entire flight by yourself.
You are the pilot in command. If that instructor is on the radio with you, whether it's working or not, or you're listening to her or not, you are the one controlling that aircraft, no matter what that instructor is telling you. Granted, it's nice to have them there. A lot of us are in robot mode where we're just listening and doing what they say. So, I mean, it's arguable who's in control. But yeah, I mean, you're the one flying the aircraft. That's my thought.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. When you're in complete control of the aircraft, so towing, no, that's not a solo because somebody else is in control of your launch, basically. Bunny Hill, that's really not a solo because you're just, well, I don't know, it depends. Greg jumped off something that was like 1,800 feet, and it was 5 minutes of a sled ride. So was that a solo?
Wait, what was it? What was that? What was the question? That last thing you said?
Well, we're trying to figure out what is a solo, what is considered a solo. And Brian said that the first time that you are in complete control of the aircraft and you control the launch and the landing by yourself, whether or not an instructor is in your ear, it's a solo. And I was thinking that Greg was talking about him doing a PG launch off of a Bunny Hill that was 1,800 feet, and it took 5 minutes after his launch to land. Even though it was a sled ride, he didn't catch any thermals. So was that a solo for PG when you take your first flight, even if it's a sled ride? I guess it is.
I would think you need power. Otherwise, you're just gliding. You're not flying. I mean, you need thrust to get up into the air to create lift. So I would think solo would be related to something with an engine or a motor.
So you don't think somebody could solo as a paraglider?
Man, there's some paragliding people out there probably beating the screen with me saying that, but I don't know. I mean, obviously anybody that paraglides and jumps off the top of a mountain, and they're going to say, absolutely, I'm flying, and this is my first flight, so it's a solo. And I'm not sure I would disagree with them, but when I think solo in an aircraft, I think engine.
Okay.
Hey, Brian, did you read McElroy's comment there on the screen there? Because he's 100% correct.
So
he says, apparently I had to not count the Swanee flight if you have to be in control. If you guys haven't seen that video.
We didn't say good control.
That was his wingtip takeoff, right?
Yeah. Hey, did you guys know that 6:30 on the clock is the best time of all times? It's hands down the best.
Oh my God. Wow. John Wayne says you're in trouble, and Aaron I said there's tandem and solo. And Mark McElroy said, Shane, that was for you.
Yeah, the in control.
Or
not in control.
Yeah, that was. If you guys haven't seen it yet, you need to go over and check out Mark McElroy's YouTube channel. He did a really interesting, I don't know, a launch where he actually took off, did a wingtip drag, and then took off. It was incredible. He's telling us that he didn't do it on purpose. It looks like he did. So you might want to go over to his channel, take a look at that one, give him thumbs up, and let him know that he did it on purpose, or maybe he didn't do it on purpose.
I'm curious, all this talk of a solo, I mean, what's the FAA's definition of a solo? There's got to be one out there, right?
Yeah, it's when you're the person who's flying the airplane, the only person who's flying the airplane. I mean, if you're flying with an instructor, you're not. That's not a solo.
So what about an instructor in your ear but not in the plane?
It would still be a solo. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And really, if you think about it, whether you when you take your first flight by yourself, you still got the instructor in your ear going through all the little steps and stuff. You can still hear the instructor in your head,
Oh yeah. I got over 300 flights, and every takeoff and landing, I still hear Lauren in my ear, telling me you know, pressure, you know,
Yeah.
full throttle. I hear it all every time.
Power. Give it power, damn it. I said power. Okay, I guess you want power. Once you learn
When I heard Jim's instructor, Jim, your throttle must have like 100 different levels on it or something, because he kept saying, he must have said it 100 times. It's like, well, how many times? I mean, man, I would have been squeezing the handle.
that power is your friend, man. Once you learn to lean back and give it the gas, oh, it's so easy. So easy.
I look forward to experiencing it. I really do. I was just being gentle.
Yeah, well, no need.
You were talking about looking at the ground too, and I had that problem. I literally, it was almost 100 flights that I got in. I knew there was an issue, but it was literally 100 flights I got in before it clicked. I would put a foot out, a foot down, and I would look above the horizon, and I wouldn't flare until I felt that foot touch, and then I flared, and it was, you know, you got to be kind of careful.
Waited that long.
Yeah. Basically, my buddy said, man, just put your foot down, wait till you feel that toe tip touch, and then you control the flare and you bleed the speed out. And I just nailed it. And you know, we tend to look down at the ground and flare too early, balloon. You know, it causes problems. It takes a while for that to click, but once it does, man, things get a lot easier. And then I got wheels, and none of that mattered anymore. But you know, it's all good.
Yeah, I dig wheels.
Again.
What's that, Will?
You make it sound like you're never going to foot launch again.
No, I will. I absolutely will, man. Foot launching is a lot of fun, but with a retractor trike, dude, it's hard to beat because you take off with a full tank. You need a little bit more runway, but once you retract that front wheel back, it's just like flying a foot launch unit. I mean, it's identical. I can't tell any difference. So other than a slight difference in climb out.
Yeah, I definitely dig wheels also. I like just being able to sit, you know, and relax and go full throttle and it feels like an airplane, you know, it really is great. But like you said, you need a little bit more runway. And, you know, when you foot launch, you can do things that you can't do in a trike. Like you can't do a reverse in your trike, you know, if you got some high winds.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be a foot launch pilot for a long time. But the wheels are nice, man, for sure.
Something else that I was a little bit concerned about was riser twist, because I did the hang points and we adjusted it. But when I initially, where I was initially sitting, the felt that if I had flown it that way, I would have likely gotten riser twist if I had put really a lot of power. So I want it to be really smooth and careful from that perspective too, because he also, once we set it back one, he said you're still leaning quite a bit back, but it should be good. So I was thinking I need to go gentle on the throttle, but we'll see. I'm going to definitely try it a little bit more so the next time.
Yes, Aaron, you can do a reverse on a retracted trike or a clip-on type of trike. Yes, you can. I'm just saying in general, you know, those trikes are great for launching in nil wind. Do you agree on that, Brian? Nil wind?
Yeah, and this morning I actually, you know, it was about no wind. I noticed I had about a half 1 mile an hour tailwind on launching. I was like, hey, no big deal. With the trike, you just go a little bit faster. It takes a little bit longer to unclip and relay out your wing, that kind of thing, if the wing doesn't come up straight. But nil wind is absolutely perfect for taking off with a trike. Obviously, a headwind makes it easier. The speed is not an issue. A wet wing is not really an issue because it's not as hard to lift it up. So all the things that make a no wind wet wing morning launch hard, foot launching are not as big of an issue with wheels. That's for sure.
Aaron said it's more of a move to show off. Yeah, it kind of is.
So what do you call a pony with a sore throat?
Oh God. What?
A little horse.
A little horse, yeah.
A little, a little
Oh,
horse.
I like that one.
Yes, that's
Come on, Shane. You want to laugh.
okay. That is adorable. I have to
That
admit.
was good. I gotta remember that.
Did I
one.
not laugh? What, did I have a long face?
No, it didn't. It looked like you
A long
kind of holding
face.
back there a little bit.
So long. Oh my God. All right,
Well,
I'm
guys,
ready
I'm
now.
gonna get up early in the morning and go fly.
Wait
That's-
a minute. Say it right.
Hey, I got a bell.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah, I got an hour and a half flight in this morning, and I'm hoping the weather's gonna move out of here tonight. I'll get another flight tomorrow morning. So
I'm sorry.
definitely
you
looking
have to
forward
fly tomorrow, Brian.
What's that, Will?
I'm sorry you have to fly tomorrow. I'm sorry about that, man. That's terrible.
I don't have to, but I damn sure want to. So we'll go with that and see what happens.
Right on.
There you go. There you
Sounds
go.
good. I think we're all gonna head on out of here. It's 9:30 already. Brian, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you run over to pbgbrian.com to see Brian's shenanigans. Brian Haybale Waller. He's awesome. I dig him. Jim, thank you so much for joining us tonight and being our guest and challenging us, letting us know about the Canadian rules and regulations and watching your solo, even though it wasn't a solo, which I still don't get, but I understand. Appreciate you, Jim, for jumping on and hanging with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks,
Absolutely. WillFlyPPG.com. Thank you so much for joining us, brother, and hanging out with us. Make sure you run over and check out him at WillFlyPPG.com. He has the next level of videos. You got to watch them. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe. Hit that bell notification. Don't forget to do that for Brian too at ppgbrian.com. Over at Never Trust a Skinny Chef Shane's channel, which is ppgshane.com. Definitely hit that subscribe and that bell notification because he does a great Tuesday night show, which is coming up tomorrow, Tuesday night hangouts. Tell us real quick, Shane, about your Tuesday night hangouts.
We hang out and we more or less sit around a pretend campfire that's at a fly-in, and we just talk about whatever, laugh, and have a good time. So see you guys tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time on ppgshane.com.
Yep.
Absolutely. And we also appreciate Linda Anderson. She is our cheerleader, but she's also the gal that you need to get up with if you want to be a guest on ClearProp TV or PPG Shane's show or Flying Flamingo Jade's show. Probably also on that other guy. What's that guy's name that does a show on Thursday?
Paraglidingtalk.com. Your awesomest host, Robert Michaels.
Absolutely.
Right. You know it. Mama knows. Paramount USA be in the house on Thursday night. Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So to get up with Linda, just go to paramomusa.com and that forwards over to her YouTube channel. Her Facebook page, and you can message her and say, "Hey, I want to be on one of these shows. This looks cool."
Oh, yeah.
Flying Flamingo Jade over at paramotorgirl.com. You'll find her with her all-female podcast on Wednesday nights, and of course, you can hear our show, ClearProp TV, on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast audio on iTunes. Also, ppgshane.com's Tuesday night hangouts and paramotorgirl.com's Girls Just Want to Have Fun. No, Girls Just Want to Fly. Is that right? Girls Just Want to Fly?
Girls Just Want to Fly.
Girls Just Want to Fly.
And you can find all that on PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, ClearProp TV, paratalk.org. Anybody else want to say anything before we head on out?
Yeah, I do, man.
Yes, sir.
Sean, I just want to say, man, it's been a fun year. I've really enjoyed being on the show. Anybody who wants to go back a whole year on Sean's YouTube channel can see my interview, episode 21, where I kicked the hay bale and came on and talked about it. These guys reached out to me. They gave me a spotlight as a new pilot. And they let me hang around and jump on the show. And now we're doing a Tuesday night show as well. And it's just been this last year has been a heck of a ride. Training an aviator brought me into a family of like-minded individuals. And that's how I met y'all. And so get you good training. You're going to meet a lot of good people in the sport, and you're going to have a lot of fun. It's the best high you will ever have in life, getting in a paramotor. And I just hope that everybody else can enjoy it like I have. I know I've enjoyed being on the show for a year, and hopefully the next year will be as much fun as the last one has.
I can't believe that it's been a year already. And would you say that it was episode 21?
Yeah. It premiered, today's the 12th, July 10th, 2020.
Wow.
So that was basically about 3 or 4 weeks after I broke my leg. I came on the show, and y'all hosted me, and you told us past guests could come on and help co-host, and I took advantage of that offer. And I don't know, you got to be able to get rid of me.
And here we are talking with Jim on episode 80.
Yep.
Season 2. I mean, we've just really just done so well. And if you search for Paramotor Podcast on iTunes or your favorite podcasting app, I think we come up first, do we not? I mean, everybody else that used to do a podcast doesn't do it anymore, you know, the audio podcast.
Oh, okay.
So
Wow.
I think we're the only.
I appreciate you guys 100%.
I think we're the only active paramotor podcast. Actually, there's a new one that I just saw that is from, was it from England?
Oh, wow.
And they're doing one over in England. I can't remember, but I started listening to that because that was pretty cool.
Oh, I'll check it out.
Absolutely. Check it out and a boot. Right, Jim?
And a boot.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Anybody want to say anything before we head on out, guys? Shane, anything?
Chatters.
Been a great show.
I'm out.
All right.
I'm going to bed.
I am going to bed too. So thank you very much for joining us here at PPG Grandpa's Paramotor Podcast, ClearProp TV, paratalk.org, and we'll see you next week. Actually, we'll see you tomorrow on ppgshane.com's hanging out with the skinny chef.
Be safe.
All right. See y'all. Have a good one.
Peace.
Bye.
Later.